Alright, we back here. Doing this right here based on the D.O.C. Everything dealing with them. A lot of situations going up there. I don't understand what was going on really, but I figure it's all that the powers that be, like I said, to silence someone or to keep them down. To show you all angles of how the Justice Department manipulates their power and abuses their power under the color authority of law. And that's what these individuals do. First, right here, let me grab this. So, letters has two, but I made various copies before I sent it out. I had to even sent letters out to various new agencies, and it's explaining everything here. How I was mislabeled, dealing with my 4 base points, dealing with religious purposes. I'll read this whole letter to you so you have an understanding where I'm coming from. And matter of fact, I have down here. These are just some of the sources I got back. But this is just one that I sent to Elizabeth Hopkins. I sent one off to Channel 5 News also, but these are just copies that I kept myself in these things. Because they just kept getting sent back. Also, letters to the governor. They weren't letting them out to the media, to the governor about certain things I was trying to cover, especially about the motor vehicle policy. But basically, these in here is the same thing as this is what I tried to put out to those individuals to show the happenings. But I'm going to read this to you here. It's from me. I am currently incarcerated at Susan D.O.C. I sent with this letter truth and evidence of the real happenings behind the cell walls. I have attached many articles or papers which dismiss allegations made by the Department of Corrections in News 5 ABC investigations led by Kathy Curran. The intent that the Judicial Department and Department of Corrections of the Commonwealth is to propagate a justification for job security for their staff. Please read all highlighted portions which will show that I am the anomaly to all accusations made about inmates, especially from investigations and false reports by Kathy Curran at Channel 5 News. This is in Boston. I am a low risk of violence inmate, non-violent offender at Susan D.O.C. Mind you, I have no record of institutional violence, even in the county jails too. The Department of Corrections have manipulated my classification, programming, disciplinary due process, legal mail, court appearances, and reentry rehabilitation. I have been labeled as STG 5%er with no affiliation, and 5%ers are deemed a religion which cannot be labeled STG due to Religious Land Use and Institutionalized Persons Act of 2000. I have been given 4 base points on original classification and not received points in negative for proof of work and education, which I gave them. I'll show you in a minute. In which the Department of Corrections has received state and federal funding for. The 4 base points were given with no formal disciplinary sanction taken at Berkshire County House of Corrections, and I was found not guilty. I also stressed the fact of education and my rehabilitation were all ignored. I should have had 2 base points have been placed in minimum security if policy and procedures by D.O.C. staff were followed. I have written several individuals and they would not honor the mistake that had been made. Just like any other thing, they would not honor their own mistakes. Disciplinary process has no impartiality. Former D.O.C. staff and hearing officers that favor co-workers more than evidence. Twice removed from institutions because of flawed investigations and proof of misconduct by myself. Policies are followed by staff, and disciplinary process is used as a retaliatory tool to harass and discourage outspoken inmates about D.O.C. staff misconduct. Mail to Governor Baker sent exposing the fact that from 2011 to 2014, restitution was charged and taken from inmate accounts because of synthetic cannabinoids, which are in fact not legislated as a controlled substance and regulation of trade in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. This was at that time between those 3 years. Inmates are charged for disciplinary introductions, which is a controlled substance, narcotic, drug, or drug paraphernalia. Taxpayers and inmates' families suffer because DOC's Ponzi scheme, where is the money allocated and where is the fund distributed? Does D.O.C. administration have records for 2011 to 2014 when synthetic cannabinoid was not deemed a controlled substance? Okay. And the label of the 20 strands or whatever they're supposed to have there. I have written several letters to Thomas Turco III and others in the administration sectors of the Department of Correction with no response. This is a play on my intelligence because they can use authority given arbitrarily to cover up and manipulate situations that I am talking about while I'm incarcerated. Now, I put this in that letter there. I'm going to show you some things here. Let me see here. Let me go here. You see this form here, and it has here risk assessments. It's my name up there. Okay. So, Morris Talley, Susan Bernowski, Shirley Max. Okay. Risk of violence, low. Criminal thinking, substance abuse, low. My anger's high. These are the programs they put me in, which I never even got an opportunity to do. And once I started bringing it up to the programs and brought it up to a certain lady that works there in a higher up position, you know, it started breaking down to everything else. This right here is what I was talking about basically about 5 percenters. I was at Shirley Medium. I'll give you the breakdown here. I found out by intake staff for security that 5 percenters were labeled as STG on May 4th. I have no history as such. County correction facilities otherwise have no paraphernalia, writing, graffiti, or recruitment shown at any time. I speak to the superintendent there, Marcelli at the time, and Deputy Keith Nano and the IPS officer Chad Hamilton about the matter. At staff access on July 14, 2016, is explained by IPS officer Hamilton that the 5 percenters are no longer labeled as a gang. They're you know, since 2009, which I explained to him also. I requested that my name be removed from that STG list because of discrimination, you know, and possibility that the actions could have had an effect on my classification and my movement. It's also constitutional, it's a violation of constitutional inmate rights. Nano stated to me that basically, you know, you don't want me in your life, and I brought the situation up and kept arguing about it with him. And, you know, I filed a grievance. The grievance number is 90269. And Sandra M. Walsh responded to it on July 21st, 2016. And basically her response, this is her response right here. This is the grievance that I put in, you know. And they kind of like messed up on the writing, but they got the gist of what I was saying. If it were to be a religious documentation, although I'm not a pre-discrimination, they chopped everything down. I've been registered as a member of the Nation of Gods and Earths, 5%. I have no tattoos, membership of any institutional background and such. I've been labeled at Walpole when I asked know why. I mean, the issue is, the point is that you're still labeling religious persons as gang members. And by the Constitution and the Supreme Court, since 2009, it's supposed to be recognized as a religion. You don't think that hinder classification of anything that you're doing? You see it signed off by there, and you look, approved. It's approved to the IPS. 5 percenters are no longer as gang members. But when I got up to Shirley Max, come to find out they still have me with that labeling in the computer. Still try to get able to get that done and got ran down with that. This is my classification. I'm going to break down my classification for you. I received a 3.5 to 5 year sentence, ran concurrently with 2 other 2.5 to 3s. I taught the classification lady, my CPO at the time was Caitlin Kerrigan. She reports 8 base points, 1 for escape, because I got an escape charge, 3 for the trafficking charge, and 4 base points for supposedly fighting in Berkshire County. Now, I told this lady that I got found not guilty, and she tells me that they can just override that and just find me guilty on it. But when you're locked up in the prison system, you know, through their due process, say if you know, got charged with something and you got found not guilty, you don't get those points, base points that can hinder you in classification for getting, you know, a lower security movement down from maximum security or medium down to minimum security. So that's the main point I was getting at with that. And I broke down everything near to that. And this is how it goes down for the base points. You know, everything here, 3. They give me a 3 here at first, but it's supposed to be a 2. Escape 1, that's right. Now here, history of prior institutional violence with the last 7 years. Okay? There's a category 2 and gave me 4 points. Now, when you add up this, right? 3, 2, that's 4 and 4. But then here, education and employment, right? They're supposed to take off a point for each one of those. So that's what I was saying. That's only supposed to have 2 points. Because this should have been a 2 and a 1. Even if this is 4 and you take those away, it would have been 2 points. Probably would have had less than that. This is a letter I wrote to the Berkshire County Sheriff's Department explaining what they did. Now, I have it's back from Al Bianchi, Director of Classification. This is what he says. Upon receiving your correspondence, the Master Department of Correction in Milford was contacted. I have reviewed your request regarding the disciplinary incident while at Berkshire County, and also reviewing, I determined that the incident at Berkshire County to which you referred resulted in a finding of not guilty. So why was I given 4 points? The Mass D.O.C. was informed of the not guilty finding and assured me the letter is not being used on your point-based scale. Therefore, this incident will not affect your point-based score and will not be used to calculate your point-based score and will not hold you back from your movement. But what do you see right there? Right here. Still 4 points. Still 4 points. I just don't get it. This is basically a certificate, not my diploma, but it's showing. This is what I showed them that I graduated, and they got that for there, and it's showing all my my grades for everything that I have there. And it's from Springfield High. They got that transcript. This is another one. This right here is a check stub that I showed. It was proof of employment. This check here, November 1st, 2015, November 14th, 2015. Showing the check stub, giving the contact Stavros, contact these people, and guess what? Still ain't get no points off of that. And I'm gonna show you again. Education, employment. Showed you both of those. Nothing there. There's nothing there. But they damn sure gave me 4 points for something I got found not guilty of. Classification reports telling them I'm trying to go to Norfolk and try to get everything together. Look, they still sent me to Shirley Medium. I put in an appeal, still got approved by Jennifer E. Gallardi. Now check this out. I got a 3-0 vote. They put the site of the hearing in Norfolk. I was never at Norfolk. We was at Shirley Medium. And they tried to give me a 3-0 vote to go to Norfolk. That got shot down. Wrote letters to Carol Michi about violation of my disciplinary process and my rules and guidelines and things. When I was at MCI Concord, this is where I wrote Claire Carcita about the reentry programs, and then like 3 days later, all of a sudden they started making sure they was doing all them programs I was telling you about that I wasn't taking. It's kind of crazy. The things up here they have me listed for, they ain't even doing the damn programs up there until I said something about it and wrote a letter to this lady. They sit on their ass getting money. That's what they do. This is another letter here I wrote to Investigator Garrotti. He's one of the prison's private investigators for the superintendent. And this is the letter right here I got on a grievance. A letter sent to mailroom requesting whereabouts of mail sent out to governor that was told by inmate the treasurer itself it was not deemed legal mail, which is wrong, and that attorneys are not legal mail. On October 30th, that was dated on October 18th. On October 31st, the treasurer said that mail to governor is not legal. Also had papers to state that attorneys are not court officials, and I argue that they are court officials. That's how they was trying to hinder me. It's been 2 weeks and I've received mail to governor back. A dry response as to what happened to it, and treasurer did is not legal mail. Now, mind you, I never got my mail back, and to have proof that all my mail got sent out that's legal mail, and they never even showed back up with it. But this is what I show right here. It's privileged mail. Inmates shall be permitted to mail and receive letters from the following. Any officer of the court of the United States or the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, or any court of the United States, judge, government attorney, court clerk. I mean, they changed this right here because it was vague government attorney. But if the state is providing me this attorney, isn't that a government attorney? That's our government. They try to get that out. The vice president, all this, the governor of the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. But she was telling me that the governor's not legal mail. How? And it says it right here. And this is 103 CMR 41-10. I think it's a -11 now. This is the mailroom officers I'm writing to see about where my mail's at. This is Kim Lincoln, Deputy Superintendent, writing which I see where my mail's at and everything here, telling about how my mail was open. I'm sending money to the governor. I'll be letters to the governor. Nothing's getting to him. I'm not even getting the mail back. Like, it's crazy. Another letter here to the treasurer about the situation. Finally, after we spoke last week, this is from Marley Ryan Strayhorn Standby Council, CPCS. I called MCI Concord to talk about your legal mail being open. I spoke with C.O. Zimber. She said she wants to know exactly who passed out the mail. Did you sign for it? And when it occurred? You know, open it up mail. This is from the Committee of Public Counsel. I was contacted today by inmate Lamar Charlie, who tells me he's on a hunger strike related to interference with his legal mail and denial of access to legal material. Why would somebody go on a hunger strike about their shit? You know, about my pro se cases. This is the case I was trying to get there at the time on. It's another letter from them. Another letter. Because here, a violation of my practices. You look up this is crazy itself. I get a breakdown of more of this stuff in a second, but all of this stuff is crazy. I got the video numbers where you can look at this video here. I was held in HSU, and HSU, by their rule policies, you're supposed to have all your legal materials. They can't deny you from having them. I asked for my legal materials, and they're telling me no. So when I was on a hunger strike, straight out flat denied me my legal materials. You know, maced me, sprayed me, did all of this. Oh yeah, there's more letters in here. I'm gonna show you some more things. Hold on. There's disciplinary reports. I'm getting disciplined for them violating my rights. You know, this country was built off people getting their rights violated. Now check this out. How did she intercept it? This is Kim Lincoln. I'm in receipt of a copy of correspondence dated February 9th, 2017, addressed to Governor Charlie Baker. What exactly are you looking for me to do regarding your letter to Baker? You know what I'm saying? It's a big pamphlet with bad things. What do you mean what I'm going to do? Send it out to him. This is Silver. Talk about my mail. Giving me the runaround. Well, this is not Silver. This is Trevor Maloney from CPCS. Saying that he contacted Silver about that, about my legal mail. It's another letter about what he wrote for me about my legal mail. It's another letter that he wrote dealing with the issue about my legal mail. This is the things that the lady put out here. You basically supposed to be but your personal attorney is not legal mail. This is what these people are giving me. This right here is proof of negligence. In 41, they don't put -10, you know, nowhere on there. Or right here they put it, attorneys are not court officials, port regulations stated in 103 CMR 4810, but it just said it was. It just said it was. You know, it keep going on. It keep. I'm sorry, everything's keep flipped around, but they're saying it's overweight. Legal mail doesn't matter how much it weighs. It could be as tall as 6 feet, weigh 300 pounds. They gotta send it out. They gotta pay for it. If I'm indigent, they gotta pay for it. Kept my account like that on purpose, so to make these people pay for it. You know, why I'm gonna sit back and keep giving them money? This is an investigation right here that was done at Concord, and listen, no substances are found. Nothing with phone calls. A letter from a dry snitching ass motherfucker drops a letter basically trying to entitle me into something. Next thing you know, they searching me with no evidence or anything else. I get put in a hole. I'm in there for 8 months. Damn near 8 months. You know, flawed investigation with that. The main thing is that the lady said that due to her experience as an officer. Now, where's the impartiality in that? Look, it says right here, in this department, hearing officers' experience as a correctional officer, it is consistent with drug introduction. The same actions of Ms. Burt and Charlie observed in the videos, providing multiple events in a different way. But my thing is like, if you don't have anything, if you don't have nothing as proof to show it's narcotics or anything of that nature, you don't give a fuck what you say that we doing or how we doing it. Where's the proof? But it comes down to the point where you're supposed to be impartial about the evidence. If they don't have the evidence, let it go. Then we even caught up the officer by their own policy. They have something there where they're supposed to talk to informants and talk to individuals there. This dude didn't document anything. He said he was talking to informants, getting information from informants. Look, Right here, I put in a motion for this shit. The motion regarding lack of informant checklist for the cooperative sources was approved by this DHO. Due to the institution's failure to provide these checklists, the DHO was unable to utilize information for the cooperating sources. So if you weren't able to use the information for the cooperating sources, you know, how you still finding me guilty? How are you still finding me guilty? And this lady's Miss Shadeen. That's her name. You know, I'm writing these people, man. Writing. This letter right here is to Thomas Turco. It's another letter I wrote, you know, explaining the whole situation. So now I was at Shirley Medium, telling them, you know, everything over there. It's another letter to Thomas Turco. Never get a response from these people. Don't get a response. I keep copies of everything. This is the Institution Grievance Officer Tochi at Shirley Max. Still no response. About my mail, about my clothing. You know, this is about the computers. They had the computers down for months. Went and fixed them in P1. Went fixing none of our legal stuff, so we have any legal rights to get anything. Mind you, we only get out probably like 4 or 5 hours a week, if that, from everything else that's going on. It's another letter I wrote to Governor Baker. Now, this right here is crazy. I want to show you this. This letter I wrote to Governor Baker explaining, like, okay, from 2011 to 2014, synthetic marijuana. Now, this right here is from the Department of Corrections, where they tried to use something in March 2011 from the DEA, ordered placing 5 types of synthetic cannabinoids under the Controlled Substance Act. But that's federally. It has to be enacted statewide to affect our civil liberties and rights here. You know, there was nothing there. It didn't go in enact until July 1st of 2014 that synthetic cannabinoids, 20 strands, were actually illegal. Put as controlled substances, Massachusetts general laws. Let's hear from the DEA explaining everything about the 5 cannabinoids and all that stuff. And I found that out is that the D.O.C. was charging individuals with introduction. Introduction is like control of having possession of a controlled substance or trying to bring it in. You know, you introduce it to that point. But the point is that, you know, you're charging these individuals $144 each time, and it keeps adding up. So it goes from $144 to $288 to whatever after that, and whatever it gets blocked off to. And you can't get commissary. You can't get things that you need. I mean, it's basically your family's money that they send you is getting tossed and thrown away. But, you know, it's the act itself. Even though the persons might not, as far as prisoners might not be doing the right thing that they're supposed to do, these individuals are taking advantage of that and filling their pockets. I just want you to understand what they're doing. At every instance, wherever you go with these people, they're dumping you down and doing things to fill their pockets. Because number one, the more investigations that they say they have, the more funding they're going to get for it. Then the 144 pool, nobody knows where this money goes that inmates pay. Their families is paying that. Who's really working getting $144 or $288 a week in prison? I mean, who? I mean, that's in prison. No pre-release, no parole. That's in prison. That's who's working and getting that a month. Nobody. That's understand. You're breaking the taxpayers and their family. Wholly, they need to look into that because that's basically a violation of civil rights. You could put it a tort claim for that. Basically, that's a Ponzi scheme. It's a Ponzi scheme. Millions. You know they got millions from that. You know, I just want to show you some of the stuff here that I went through with the D.O.C. And it's kind of like overwhelming. I'm getting hit on every end dealing with these people. So I know if it comes to me getting locked back up, you know, they just got to find out their way to try to, I guess, torture me, I guess. Try their way of doing it. But just try to keep all this shit together and keep everything, you know, stay 1 foot ahead, 10 steps ahead. You know, but this is why I've been keeping all this stuff. I'm to let you know and see what, you know, all these people do that's at these positions. I think a lot of them have good hearts and good intent in the beginning, but it comes to the fact about, you know, dealing with stuff for so long, it's time to get rid of them.